A woman was so desperate for a piece of fish that she considered trading her body for it. However, fearing her stingy husband's reaction, she pretended to casually walk past the young man. Little did she know Mike, who was standing nearby, had already seen through her intentions. He invited her to join him for lunch and promised to keep her secret. With his assurance, the woman dropped her act and greedily devoured the fish. The woman thought she could hide this from her husband, but her secret was quickly exposed. Her husband had sneakily stolen the young man's diving goggles to catch fish and ease his hunger. When he returned them to Mike, instead of being angry, Mike seemed oddly satisfied. This unusual reaction immediately raised the husband's suspicions. He confronted his wife, demanding to know what had happened. To his surprise, the woman confessed everything. Unable to contain his rage, Jack roughly grabbed his wife by the hair and threw her in front of the young man. He expected her to beg for forgiveness, but reality slapped him hard in the face. Seeing their intimate interaction, Jack's anger turned murderous. However, survival was the most pressing issue. Using scrap materials found on the island, he crafted his own diving goggles. When he dove into the sea, he discovered they worked just as well as professional ones, filling him with pride. As he prepared to catch a big fish to reward himself, he stumbled upon an old, dilapidated sunken boat. Excitedly, he flipped the boat over, only to find an irreparable hole in the bottom. Undeterred, he risked drowning and grabbed the boat's rope, struggling to pull it to the surface. His strength quickly waned, forcing him to abandon the boat and resurface for air. Gasping for breath, he refused to let this opportunity to leave the island slip away. Taking a deep breath, he dove back down. After hours of relentless effort, the man finally dragged the small boat to the shore. Mike and the woman, seeing Jack pulling a boat, excitedly ran over to help. But the man, now despising the adulterous couple, waved them off, insisting they stay away from the boat. The next day, a rejuvenated Jack began repairing the boat with scrap materials found on the island. After 8 hours of hard work, he not only fixed the boat but also added a sail. Seeing this, Mike panicked. If Jack escaped the island, he would surely return for revenge. He conspired with the woman, and while the man was out fishing, they pushed the boat into the sea. By the time the man noticed, it was too late. Strangely, instead of anger, he wore an enigmatic smile as he watched them escape. Soon, the woman discovered water flooding the bottom of the boat. In a panic, she tried to plug the leak with a seat cushion, but to no avail. They realized they had fallen into the man's trap. The small boat quickly sank, forcing them to swim back with all their might. Meanwhile, Jack leisurely sipped on coconut juice, certain they would perish at sea. However, after hours of struggling, the couple managed to swim back to shore, defying his expectations.